Right, let's have another go at that, shall we? There we go. That just lifts clean off. Now you're going to get a little bit of oil. It's unavoidable, because in a 4-stroke the oil actually runs through a channel into the cylinder head, and accordingly it runs into the head to lubricate the valve gear. It doesn't actually go through because you have seals down here which prevent the oil going through, but it circulates around the head to lubricate all the valve gear and keep everything nice and cool while it's clicking away like mad, opening and closing, and of course you've got the extreme heat coming out of the exhaust valve and what have you. So you'll get a little bit of oil dribbling. Just clean it up, make sure that there's none stuck inside the piston crown just here for when you reassemble. And a good idea is just have a quick inspection while this is off and make sure that everything seems fine. There's no scoring or nastiness to the bore. What you can do with this, something you have to be more careful of with an overhead cam engine, where the camshaft actually fits on the top here. With an overhead valve one, you can just crank away and turn the thing around, turn the engine over, actually either by using the kickstart or by turning it on the bolt just under here. And you can turn it over and move the piston up and down to inspect the bore. Now with a cam engine you can do that, but you have to be careful that your timing marks are replaced back to their original positions, for the simple reason that you have timing marks on your camshafts, timing marks on your crankshaft. What you can actually do is get the timing marks 180 degrees out. So while they may actually all line up and look as if they're in the right place, you can find on reassembly that the timing is actually 180 degrees out, and you'll find that your inlet valves are opening when they should be exhausting, and so on and so forth, and then you've got potential valve strike. Big problem, last thing you want. When we cover the reassembly, I will mention of course the check procedures, but a quick one I'll just mention now for anybody who's going to go cracking ahead and do a strip and rebuild. Something that's very important: when you finish reassembly, always give the engine 2 complete revolutions by hand with a spanner or with the kickstart. If you feel any kind of pressure holding it back, anything that seems to lock it solid, stop immediately and inspect it, because the odds are you've got a valve strike. Now, most damage on engine rebuilds is caused after rebuilding the engine by people putting the whole thing back together, tightening it all up, looking at it thinking, yeah, that's fine, and pressing the starter, vroom, clank, and there go your camshafts, your con rod, and so on and so forth, and you don't want that to happen. So just be sensible, as with anything. Okay, so that's the cylinder head off. There's the cylinder head, there's the underneath of the cylinder head showing the valves there. Just another quick note, with regards to valves, the little one is always the exhaust valve, because it's easier to get the exhaust gases out than it is to get the inlet gases in. The big one is always the inlet. On some engines you will have more than one of each. You might have a couple of each, and so on and so forth. You might get little remnants of stuff stuck to the head there. Now obviously on reassembly you need to use a new head gasket. I've heard stories of people saying they've reused the old one. It's not a good idea. It isn't, because if your head gasket starts to blow, then you're just going to cause yourself the same old aggravation all over again. You're just going to have to do the whole thing again. It's pretty pointless. You can see also where the spark plug protrudes, just there to the side. Most efficient place for a spark plug is smack bang at the top in the middle, and in something like this it's not feasible, so you get it as near as, which is just there. Okay, we're just going to put this down over here. just a quick walk around your engine here. You'll notice a bit of staining there. That's actually from the exhaust manifold, where the gasket's been blowing. Could easily be mistaken for a head gasket blowing, but it's because the cylinder head is open there, so where the gasket's been blowing a bit, it's just marked it. It does clean off, as you can see there. So obviously if you have a head gasket leak, it will be very, very evident, because your gasket will be physically damaged and it will have scorch marks coming out of one of the particular areas on the gasket. It will be very, very obvious. Now, when you replace this, you will be removing the gasket, and you'll need a tool that is softer than the aluminium itself. This is important for cleaning off any remnants of gasket. The best thing to do if you have the time is soak it in solvent, that way it peels off easier, something like petrol or thinners, and the paper in the gasket will actually weaken as a result of this, and it will peel off much better, to ensure that when you put your new gasket on, it's perfectly flat. Again, critically important. There's your piston crown just here. You probably can't see it very well. I'm just going to give my hands a whack and try and zoom in so you can see that. You've got little inlets, cutouts there, that's where your valves sit when the head's on. So yeah, as you can see, not very big at all, but that's 125cc. The reason water-cooled ones look physically smaller is because, of course, there's no need for all these cooling fins, and it's these that carry the heat away on an air-cooled engine, and that's why they always look bigger than they actually are. This is why your bikes like your big Harleys and what have you, the engines look enormous on them. Now, you could remove a cylinder head for many reasons. Just as a for example, if you want to decoke the head, if it's fairly high mileage and there's a lot of carbon build up, for example, you want to fit a large bore and piston to make it a bigger capacity machine, then the next step would be to remove this. This is already unbolted. You may, as in this one, have to undo a couple of bolts just there to pop this off, and there's a base gasket underneath there. That's what you'd need to do to replace the piston. In this case I won't be doing that because I've no need to remove that. And you'd pop that off, you'd take out the gudgeon pin, you'd fit the new piston with new circlips, and you'd fit the new barrel, new head gasket, and in most cases you'd reuse the old cylinder head. If not, obviously you'd get all the new stuff in the kit and you'd reassemble. The main thing to bear in mind when you're doing any work like this is keep your environment as clean as you possibly can. And I hope you found this useful. Check out my site, mychinesemotorbike.co.uk, for more useful information on the little Chinese 125s, and thanks for watching.